Today is Constitution Day. It's a day to celebrate the document and the rights that make us all American. And there are celebrations that have been taking place across the country, but likely none bigger than the one at Constitution Center in Philadelphia. And that's where we find AFR correspondent Jam Sardar, who sat down with someone else who's there to pay tribute on this day, the Second Lady of the United States, Lynne Cheney. Hi, Jam.
Hi, Art. Well, you know, Dick Cheney has been called the most powerful vice president in American history. That means Lynne Cheney is half of a very powerful couple. She's no slouch in her own right. She's the former chair of the National Endowment for Humanities. She is a current fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, and she is, of course, a best-selling author. She's here at the Constitution Center today, though, to do many different things. The first thing we asked her about is what she's going to do by welcoming some of America's newest citizens in a swearing-in ceremony.
Oh, I know. I've done this before, and it's always, you know, such an exciting thing to do. It's touching, it's moving. It's just wonderful to see people coming from all parts of the world who will enrich our society.
My boss is interviewing today the author of Dead Certain, and there's a passage in that book, obviously, about the Bush presidency where President Bush says he does a lot of crying in this job. Has your husband cried at all?
No, not that I've ever seen. Dick isn't sort of given to big ranges of emotion. He's a very steady, focused person whom I've felt very proud of over these past 6.5 years.
In public, your husband seems serious, sometimes almost gruff. Is there a softer side to Dick Cheney?
Well, you know, we've got 6 grandchildren now, and they do bring us a lot of joy and a lot of laughter. I mean, it's just impossible to have little kids running around and not just find the world a very beautiful place.
Your husband doesn't have very high popularity or approval ratings. I'm guessing that's not the kind of thing that bothers him. Does that bother you?
Well, you know, it's not the kind of thing you should worry about when you're in one of these jobs. What you need to worry about is doing the very best you can for this country. And that's been his total focus for the past 6.5 years.
Now we're here obviously in the Constitution Center on Constitution Day. A lot of people say part of the beauty of the Constitution is the system of checks and balances. A lot of critics say the Bush administration and your husband are maybe not very big fans of that idea. How do you respond to that?
Well, I think it's been important to my husband to bring back into the president's office a lot of the power that was taken away by the Congress previously, particularly in the aftermath of Vietnam. So I think it's part of checks and balances, and especially when the country is at war, it's very important that the president be able to act decisively, to be the commander-in-chief. You know, it's just not a workable situation to have 435 commanders-in-chief. There's one, and it should be the President of the United States, whoever he or she might be.
Since your husband is not running, there are a lot of people who would like to take President Bush's place. Who would you like to see among the Republican candidates?
I'm scrupulously neutral.
Neutral, okay.
But I'll be happy to campaign enthusiastically for whoever emerges as our nominee.
Now, I'm guessing whoever that is will be the Republican nominee. Hillary Clinton obviously is a Democrat, but is there some part of you as a woman that would like to see, you know, her become the first female president of the United States?
Oh, I just think that we need to focus on who will do best at keeping our country safe and secure. As a mother, and especially now as a grandmother, that's the overriding issue for me.
So is there, I didn't quite hear an answer in there, is there a small part of you that would like to see, I mean, Hillary Clinton as a woman, party politics aside?
I think we should work for the person who will be best for our country, and that nothing else ought to play a part in our decisions.
Is part of you sorry that your husband won't be running and possibly you moving into the White House after 8 years as the second lady?
We've been in public life for 40 years, and I think that's it's time for us to kick back, look at the Tetons in our home state of Wyoming, and take some time for, I know Dick will love to go fishing, I'll love to go hiking, so there are plenty of things we're looking forward to doing.
One of the things she's looking forward to doing is writing more books. something that's very near and dear to the heart of Lynne Cheney. In fact, she helped establish the James Madison Book Award. It's an award she founded to celebrate the books that help get kids interested in American history. One of the other reasons she's here at the Constitution Center is to announce the 2007 recipient of that award. Art?
Well, very impressive, Jam. An interview with the Second Lady, Lynne Cheney. You know, as I was listening to the interview, though, she doesn't seem to be very revealing in her comments, not very open with her thoughts on the presidency and the administration. Was that your take on it as well?
Well, you know, you have to expect for someone that's been around Washington and been around politics for as long as she has, she's not going to say very much that makes news. I thought it was particularly interesting that she said her husband hasn't cried. But one of the questions we did not put in the interview that you saw is, what does she consider her husband's legacy? You can expect that her answer is going to be something very happy and supportive. She does, of course, mention the fact that there has not been a terrorist attack on America since the September 11, 2001. She stresses the security, but of course she's not going to talk about many of the things that critics will certainly remember her husband.
Well, she said in your interview that her husband is not given to changes in emotion. Truer words have never been spoken. Dick Cheney very rarely shows anything beyond the straight face.
And if you notice when we said, you know, what's he like in person? Is there a softer side? She mentioned, oh, well, when you have grandkids, you know, it's a beautiful world. But she never quite answered the question head on. And that could just be something very revealing about his character, and could just be the way the man she married is.
Sure. And I think we learned something about hers as well. As I said, we don't often get to hear from Lynne Cheney. And so, Jan, we appreciate you bringing us that report here on Art Fennell Reports. Thanks, Jan.